And welcome back, everyone. Connecting Dots here. Hope you're having yourselves a great Friday evening. And if you're not here, I don't blame you. The weather's beautiful here on the West Coast. Life is just you're having yourselves a theming. Okay, so I'm making this video because, well, I got some good news. Actually, and even before I get into this, I want to those of you that like my live economic hangouts and the Panama Papers and that, I'll be probably making a video this week at some point regarding the Panama Papers, the latest update. We have the person who's been responsible for getting all this information, who's now come forward willing to help the police. So I'll get into a little bit of that probably a Saturday or a Sunday. I'll make a video on this. Okay, so other than that, this video specifically is dealing with the cowards, the scammers. It's multiples, right? It's hand in hand. They help each other, and essentially, just again, another point to prove just how much of a coward these people are. I'm going to use their own words against them. That's the best of it. So, if you recall, this past week, I was mentioning how after just 24 hours, I think it was, this video had disappeared. I'm not sure if you had an opportunity to see it. You may want to check it out. I may actually speak about some of the stuff I spoke in that video, but I think it's everything I'm about to share tonight hasn't been seen yet. Anyways, in that video, I was pointing out how the Fukushima fraud, Dana Durnford, doesn't want to debate. It's a topic that he's said many times. In fact, and now, if I'm not mistaken, he's actually trying to raise, was it $5,000 or $7,000 on some type of Skype equipment that's going to allow him to have some Skype calls. And I keep thinking to myself, who's going to call him? I mean, apart from the people that are already in the comment sections that he's allowed to be there, who else is going to call him? Because we all know that he doesn't want to debate. He bans anyone who posts any information. In fact, that's the whole reason why I've had to make these videos on my own, because he doesn't want to debate. So I figured, I've been after him since, I mean, not physically after him, because that's another thing he's now claiming, that I'm asking people to go down to his place and knock him out and all this shit. Absolute lies. But, what can I say? He's got to make up the bullshit as he wants. So, and if you're new to all of this Fukushima stuff and Dana Durnford, and you're not even aware of what's gone on in the past, this is going to be a great wake-up video, so you might want to hang tight, as I'm not a person who has a habit of showing his face. I'm more about showing the data, the facts. That's what people want. So, Connecting Dots is my nickname here on this channel. And essentially, that's what I like to do, is try to connect some dots on this one. So in this video you're seeing on the screen right now, it was removed. 24 hours, a little over 24 hours, the video was uploaded. It already had like 110 thumbs up. Obviously, I'm responsible here for one or two there, because I have 3 channels. So yeah, maybe even 3, I'm not sure. I know definitely one, and one of them I gave a thumbs up, but the rest of them, that's all new people that came down here who know this person. So after I made the video the one night, I'm like, oh, look at this. There's so many, or I should say I hadn't made the video yet, but after the one night, the video gets taken down. I'm like, whoa, what's going on with this? What's going on here? Anyways, I was very happy, because after I make the appeal, son of a gun, I get up the next morning. I couldn't believe it. Honestly, the video had been taken out the one night. This video had been taken down one night at 2:30 in the morning. 2:32 to be exact, because they actually send you an email to let you know what time your video has been taken down at. So I knew at 2:32 a.m. my video was taken down, and I lodged that complaint that day as I made the video complaining about this whole shenanigans on YouTube. And lo and behold, I get up the next morning and I come out to my Connecting Dots YouTube channel. What do I see? The video's back. I'm like, no way. How did that ever? What's going on here? Because honestly, this has never happened. I don't know if the people from YouTube, if, I've been speaking about how Google bought out YouTube, and it's part of the New World Order. That would be Google, and that this is something that was brought to light in 2003, 2004. We had 2 ex-Google employees who had left Google and hit the news that day. We all heard them, or both of them, speaking about how they're going to write a movie script and talk about how, or make a movie regarding how Google was going to control the world by the year 2014. And a couple of months later, they were back in the news again. And this time they were still writing the script, except they were changing the date from, Google's going to control us by the year 2013. Well, folks, I've been saying it's gone down in 2012. Now, on the other side of that, that doesn't mean that everyone who works at Google and everyone who works at YouTube is all corrupt and they're all part of Freemasons and they all want the New World Order and they don't give a shit about you. It's all about them, right? I don't think they're all that corrupt. So there's obviously a lot of good people in those places. They're probably not aware of what's going on in the background. So I don't know if someone from YouTube is out here watching this stuff and is aware of the frauds, but I want to thank you very much for making this video back, bringing it back out here. I've never seen such a quick, an appeal being reversed so quickly. So I was like, wow, shocked. Okay, so the debateless coward, and he is an absolute coward. He's such a coward, folks. And I'll come back to your comments here. So if any of you, Jose Espinosa, hey, I just sent your folders, technical analysis folders 13, 14, 15. You might want to check your email. Okay, guy, I just want to let you know that I did send out your next folders. He's one of the guys in the trade room. So I'll come back to the comments here a little later on. I want to deal with the coward, absolute coward, and the coward in the comment too. You're oh, Ackerman, you big coward. Okay, so listen, essentially what the coward did, as you just heard me speaking about the trading, right? If you're not aware of it, I run a day trade room, and essentially I have a phone that's set up, a cell phone with a specific number, and that number is not given out to anyone. I only have, I think, 2 friends that have the phone number, my stockbroker, and did I even give it to my bank guy? No, I don't even think the bank has it. So essentially, no one has the phone number. The cell phone was only bought for me to deal with the broker because of my living situation here. The landline's not in this room here, so that cell phone was bought for, and if you're saying, wait, you don't have a cell phone? Yeah, you're right. Since I broke my neck in 2011, life hasn't been rosy and I can't afford those monthly $50, $60 cell phone bills. So I don't have a cell phone. And but I did buy one since I started trading. I want to be able to call my broker. Nobody has a number, and guess who calls me? You bet you. You're looking at him. This ding dong actually calls me. So what I have to do here, because everything is delayed, what I say on YouTube, I have to wait till everything becomes clear on the microphone, and then hopefully I'll be able to play this soundtrack. And if not, what I'm going to do is I'll leave the link. And like, this is one of the biggest things you'll notice about myself is when I make a video and I'm debunking about somebody, I don't call them by, that Dana guy or stuff like that. I'll come right out and say, hey, it's Suspicious Observer. Hey, it's Dabu. Hey, Alex Jones, Max Kaiser, Mike Maloney, Brother John, BP Earthwatch. I'll call them out. I have no problem. Not shy at all calling them out. Why? Because I've been out here since 2009, so I know they're bullshit. I just called on Suspicious Observer tonight. I said, hey, come on, I'll come out and debate you. Come on over here. Come debate me. Tear your hole in your bullshit. So essentially, this coward got my phone number. And you're probably wondering where you got my phone number. Well, guess what? It comes from the other coward right down below, Thomas Ackerman. Because if you're watching this last week, I was mentioning how I had lost my live hangouts and the ability to have live hangouts over at the Silver Gold Man YouTube channel. And it was because of this fraudster, scammer, liar, Thomas Ackerman. Oh, yes, Ackerman. Don't worry. I can call you all those names now. I will. If you can go ahead and sue me. Oh, come on. Bring it on, Ackerman. In fact, you too. Okay. Dana, Durnford, sue me. Sue me. Both of you for defamation. They won't, folks, because they know I have a much stronger case than them. Anytime they want, I'll sue them. So here's the thing here. Ackerman has taken down my video on copyright infringements, which I'm fighting here, okay? And part of it, when you fight it, you have to give away your name and your phone number, which is another thing here I'm actually speaking to my lawyer about, and we're going to see if maybe we can even draw YouTube into this law claim, this suit here. So essentially, that's the problem with YouTube. If you have a YouTube name, a YouTube channel, should say, and possibly you want to remain anonymous, Well, guess what? It doesn't matter, because if someone decides to hit a copyright strike on one of your videos, YouTube will pull it down. And if you want to fight that copyright strike, you want to have rights to have that video back, right? It's on your own production. Well, you got to fight that thing, and be able to fight it, you have to send an appeal. And essentially, they send the appeal to Thomas Ackerman. I actually sent him an email straight up here. Like I said, these people are big time cowards. I am not a coward. I'll debate them. I'll send them emails. I'll share the emails between the two of us so you folks can see who makes more sense. They don't want that. Trust me. Ackerman and Dana would rather talk about me. Dots. Can't even say the name Connecting Dots. Like I said, absolute cowards. So what they did, or what Ackerman did, is after I sent that appeal through YouTube sent them the appeal to let them know that the Silver Gold Man wants to fight the counter copyright strike. So now he had my name and my phone number. And guess what he did? Like I said, Thomas Ackerman, you better watch out, buddy, because my lawyer and I spent at least 25 minutes speaking about you today. You're on the cooker too. Don't worry. I'm not going to let you out of sight, buddy. So what they did, or what he did, is I'm speaking about Dana Durnford at this point. He picked up a cell phone and called me on this private line. Like I said, this cell number is only for my brokerage firm. That's why I use the phone. That's it. Nobody else calls me on this thing. So what I'm about to share with you is, well, the conversation that we had. Like I said, I was surprised. I was actually in the trade room that afternoon, and I saw the phone ring, and I'm like, "Whoa!" I was surprised. Number one, I'm like, "Oh, what's my broker?" And I saw the 1604, and I'm like, "Oh, what's going on?" And my broker's in Toronto. Why would there be a 604? Toronto's 416. Anyways, I answered the phone, and well, you're about to hear what went on in that conversation. Unfortunately, you don't get to hear my rebuttal's very good, but that's why we're making this video, so we can spread a little bit of truth on YouTube and cut through the bullshit, right? Okay, so like I said, there's a little bit of a time delay here. I have to wait for what I'm just about to finish saying to go through, and then hopefully I'll be able to play it here. And I may have to stop once it starts to overlap itself and starts repeating back out through my sound system. I'll have to pause the video possibly if we don't get to hear it all at that point. So I'm just going to turn the volume up here on my speakers, and hopefully within the next 10 minutes you won't hear anything coming out, and then I'll start the video. Pause the video possibly if we don't get to hear it all at that point. So I'm just going to turn the volume up here on my speakers, and hopefully within the next 10 minutes you won't hear anything coming out, and then I'll start the video. Pause the video possibly if we don't get to hear it. I'm just going to turn the volume up here on the speakers, and hopefully within the next 10 minutes you won't hear anything coming out, and then I'll start the video.
Hey, it's Dana. Dana Durnford.
Yes.
Hey, it's Dana. Is this Dots? Is this Connecting Dots?
Yes, you are speaking to Connecting Dots. How can I help you?
Louis L'Amour? Is this Louis L'Amour? Why are you so threatening to me all the time for it? Why are you accusing me but not calling me up like I left my number on your page a few times? I put my in the video for you a few times. How come you've never called me? But you accused me. calling me up, like I left my number on your page a few times. I put my number in the video for you a few times. How come you've never called me? But you accused me that I won't debate with you or something.
Yeah, I've sent you a couple of emails in 2014.
I gave you my telephone number. You said debate. I gave you my telephone number a few times. How come you've never called me? But you accused me.
Okay, this is just not going to work here. The time delay is much shorter than it normally is. So what I'm gonna have to do is leave a link. It's probably a good thing because, like I said, these people are dying to hit me up on a copyright strike. This is, yeah, I wouldn't doubt it. Just on the little bit that I've played here right now, even though it didn't play right, I wouldn't be surprised. So, like I said, I'm not a coward. There's a link there. If you want to go watch it, it starts at 25 minutes. What I'm going to do is just essentially break down what the bullshit that these two have said. And before we even go there, and it was a very short conversation, okay, because essentially by 20 minutes, like I said, I think it was about a minute and a half, if even that long. Dana just doesn't let me speak. He kept cutting me off. You know, that's why I want to debate him on YouTube. So you get he gets 5 minutes, I get 5 minutes, he gets 5 minutes, I get 5 minutes, you know. So that's the main thing. And again, he takes it off track, right? Not sticking what's important. It's about me making videos about him. Yeah. So I told him, Dana, get used to it. There's going to be a lot more videos. I'm not stopping, you know, as long as he keeps showing these pictures here and telling you everyone it looks like that everywhere along the West Coast. Yeah, I don't think so. And again, it's all about the fraud. So Ackerman here goes on to say that Dots has created the label Fukushima fraud. You gosh darn right. He's right about that. I created that. So you folks do a search here on Fukushima fraud, and it essentially, it's exactly what he says. It ties in himself. It ties in Blanch. It ties in Dana. It ties in Miss Melkley, Rad Chick. There's a whole lot of you. It's a large group out there, okay, folks? Okay, so essentially, it's not about taking attention away from the reality of the epic Fukushima catastrophe, because I've in fact made more videos than Thomas Ackerman and Dana Durnford together. That's right. I've been following Fukushima since day one. I'm the guy that traveled back and forth in 2011 doing the fallout. And funny, that's what he gets in to say here. He goes on to say that people who read his video headlines could think that the Fukushima nuclear meltdowns are in fact the fraud that never occurred. Well, if he wants to think that, but in fact, I do very thorough videos on Fukushima, always have. In fact, much more thorough than Dana and the rest of them. I really like connecting the dots for people. So he goes on to say, like you said, he rarely brings up Fukushima other than slander his victims. Oh yeah, and there's a lot of you victims, absolutely fraudsters. It's a form of psyop orchestrated to capture the attention away from our reality into fictitious narrative embezzlement and abuse of another person. Oh yeah, this is really good. I like that he says this stuff, because I'm about to pull out the videos on it so you folks can get it. I can't play it again because Ackerman will be on there again to hit me with a copyright strike, because I already played 1 minute and 6 seconds of that video. So I'll leave the link so you folks can go listen to Ackerman's own voice, how he actually admits that, well, he abused a person that was, yeah, very sad. Anyways, he says, I also think, he seems to think that I was pissed off about my cross-Canada Geiger counter trip because no one paid attention to him. Oh my God, this is where anyone who was around back then, or even now, I should say, you're listening to this, you're say, what's he talking about? What's he talking about? Absolutely out to lunch. In fact, Ackerman used to try and kiss up to my ass to try and leave his videos. I don't know if you remember that, but back then you could leave video replies and they would show up as a video response. And then you could look down below, there were the comments. That's back in the good old days when YouTube was a lot more of a free environment and not the heavy censored platform it is nowadays. And essentially what happened is Ackerman kept bugging the bejesus out of me for me to post his videos, and I did not want them there. Why? Because I knew he was a nutcase back then. I could tell the guy's nuts. Anyways, long story short, anyone who was around back then, you all know that, heck, not only did I drive back and forth across Canada doing real radiation testing with not only one, but 2 Geiger counters, an analog and a digital one, but my YouTube channel doubled at least 100%. I was about 3,500 people. When they finally pulled a plug on me, I was near 8,000 subscribers after following Fukushima for less, what was it? A little over a year. That's right. I started that YouTube channel, or started following Fukushima when it first went down in March 2011, and it was in May of 2012 when YouTube finally took down that YouTube channel. So I've got, I don't know what's he talking about. He's just trying to make up bullshit, folks, between you and I. I got lots of people watching my videos on the Silver Gold Man and they're paying so much attention to me that Thomas Ackerman has to make sure that no one watches me live on the Silver Gold Man. In fact, Dana does, so many people watching my videos, Dana doesn't want them seeing it either. There you go, Ackerman. You're worried about it. I don't blame you, buddy. Okay, so he also goes on to say here, he had never met or even talked to Geoff Palko. Jeff's own words. I'll share the emails, folks. I still have Geoff Palko's phone number. I don't think the number works anymore. The guy passed away in December of 2014. But yes, I was on the phone with him. I sent emails to him, and I'll share the emails with you folks. Like I said, it's all about the proof with me. It's not about babbling my mouth off like Ackerman, because anyone can say shit. Very few can pull out the proof. Right. So he goes on to say, yet he pretends intimate knowledge of all that transpired between us and Geoff. Well, like I said, I even got the bank statement, so I know what's going on. And we have Geoff's own videos, right, where he was calling you people out. That's the best of it. Judging by his response to you, I'm convinced he is either a psychotic, oh yeah, really, or a low-level hired hand by the industry. I can't believe it. Here I am sitting at my desk with a trade room every damn day, and these guys think I work for some nuclear industry. You guys are out to lunch. As this is the case so often, people will only realize your effort and insight when the fat lady starts to sing. Well, guess what, guys? The fat lady's already singing, and you guys are up shit creek without a paddle. So essentially, let's get into the juice of it. That's what you folks write. You want the juice. You want the truth. So you may notice here, and I don't know how this happens. I'm not sure. My friend says they actually hire people to do this stuff. So I believe they hacked Thomas Ackerman's YouTube channel, because I noticed Kevin Blanch went and put himself up there. And you may notice up above here, this video that was just made. This is Kevin Blanch really trying to cover himself, because what happened is Geoff still had faith in Kevin when he came out of the hospital. They switched him around, but it didn't work for long, folks. It didn't work for long. When Geoff came out of the hospital, I'm not sure if you saw this video, but at this point here, like I said, go watch it. This is a video that I put together using Geoff's one of the last few videos he ever uploaded on video, like I said, on YouTube, I should say. Geoff unfortunately took his life over this whole scam, and yes, I have the letters on that one too that ties in our frauding friends, right from Geoff's own mother's words. Her own, these are her own words here in her own email, and it only makes sense to me also if you understand the background in that. And Geoff even says, that he's been on disability for 8 years, and he's living on a tight budget. So like I said, if you go watch the video, he realizes that he has been scammed. And my video was made in July of 2015. So if you go watch it, and I'll leave the link again if anyone's new here, I'll even leave these videos, and the past link I just mentioned a couple of minutes ago, I'll leave them down below in this YouTube channel so anybody can check it out. Okay, so essentially we find out that Geoff has given up on trying to get his $18,500. And then after he took his life, 6 months later, that's why I said I made this video piecing together, we get to see how Kevin Blanch had traveled all of Europe. Guess what? On the $18,500 that he scammed off Geoff Palko. And like I said, I got the evidence. Hang tight. I even have the checks. I have the email from Geoff Palko himself trying to get his money back. I kid you not, folks. That's why I'm calling them scammers. He never worked for no ex-hedge fund. I'll show you his past work history. Like I said, I'm connecting dots here, and I love providing proof, because I know how it is on YouTube. People want proof. So in the video down below, Thomas Ackerman, well, like I said, I can't go play it because Ackerman he's a coward. absolute coward like the rest of them. He doesn't want to debate. He wants to what? Have videos taken down because they're calling them out for what they are: fraud, lying fraudster. So in the very opening couple of minutes here, and I'm speaking the first minute, okay, of this video, and I wish I could play it again, but Ackerman, like I said, coward as he is, he'll hit me up on another copyright strike here at Connecting Dots too. I kid you not, folks. These people will do everything they can to shut me up at this point. I am the absolute biggest threat to their fraud, to the truth on YouTube. I'm a threat to their truth is what I should say, because they have one narrative: everything is dead. Oh, in fact, you want to hear how dead it is? I forgot to mention that. When I was watching Dana's latest video, you may have heard me speak how Dana's been making claims that there are over 5,500 marine species. That's right. Don't laugh, please. Okay. I know if you live around the ocean, you're going to chuckle after you hear this. Dana says, or was saying, that there were 5,500 marine species that had gone missing from the West Coast. Yeah, the Pacific West Coast, the nursery beds, they were wiped out. 5,500 species. But he's the only one that noticed. The other people, well, they noticed that there was a problem with the starfish, but they never noticed anything about the other 5,500 species. Only Dana in his wheelchair. That's right. He couldn't even walk. Well, we know now that he can walk, so he was lying about that also. But anyways, turns out that Dana was the only guy that's noticed that. But guess what? The latest video from Dana, he's making claims now there are over 4 million species missing from the West Coast marine life, in the tidal pools. And I'm like, oh, Jesus. How can this go from the 5,500 to 4 million? Hello, people, and they're still listening to him? One of the traders is like, I can't believe it. I'm shocked, honestly. And he says, there's always gullible people. I'm like, yeah, but really? Do they really believe there's 4 million species that are vanished from the West Coast and no one noticed this? Not a single person? Only Dana? Well, it seems like people are stupid enough to feel to buy that bullshit, folks, because I kid you not, it seems like actually his views are dropping. So I take that back. Chances are many are waking up to this, and I've said that before. If you're someone who's been caught up in this bullshit, I feel for you, and I've asked the people in the comment section not to make fun of you, because all of us, well, except for myself, but many of them in the comment section, many of the subscribers now that have joined up here at Connecting Dots too, they fell for the bullshit, okay? There's a lot of people that fell for the bullshit. It's not until they watch my videos and they understand when I make a breakdown of the blob, the red tide, the toxicity, the Navy themselves, the U.S. Navy, saying over the course of the next 5 years how there's going to be millions of dead marine life in the West Coast and the Pacific Ocean, specifically in the Pacific Ocean, from Alaska all the way down to South America, where you have your the Navy, U.S. Navy, admitting that there's going to be these big exercises, blasting sonars and whatnot. So essentially, Ackerman in this video admits that he knew that Geoff Palko was under heavy medication, all drugged up. Yeah. Oh, yeah. But he had no problem accepting money to go on a flight down there. Right? Like I said, folks, I've got all the paperwork, okay? Because this was sent to me from Geoff Palko's brother when Geoff found out, I guess his son, because he had his 16-year-old son, or 15-year-old son back then, actually. Cody was only 15. Cody must have told him, listen, Dad, your buddies are lying. There's no way everything's dead on the West Coast. That guy in his wheelchair, there's no way he's the only one that noticed this, Dad. There's got to be some bullshit. I'm making up this part of it. I can only assume that this is a conversation similar to this nature that went on between father and son, because the day that Geoff Palko went off the edge and made the video calling out all these people, I don't know if you folks got to see it, but Thomas Ackerman, yeah, you devil. And I can't, I'd have to go pull that video up. I should have right now, honestly, but I didn't want to get down that path because that was a really sad point for Geoff. He'd absolutely realized that he'd been defrauded out of his money. And we're not talking pennies here. We're talking thousands of dollars. Okay. He went off the deep end at that point and landed in the hospital. And when he landed in the hospital, his brother, had access to his affairs, took control of his affairs, and then we started going through the emails and realizing, oh shit, my brother's got taken for his fucking life savings. That's what went on. And what ended up happening is he didn't even have a whole lot of money because he had been on disability for the last 8 years. So what happened is his brother actually got to see the checks. So he got to see how Thomas Ackerman received $2,200 on June 25th, 2014. Like I said, Thomas Ackerman making these videos telling folks that his paintings sell for 50, 65, 55,000, 45. They're sold all over the world, according to Ackerman. All over the world, people want his paintings. Yet he has to come see a guy who's on disability and ask him to pay for his trip. I mean, honestly, and even if Geoff Palko said, I'll invite you up. Come on, I'll pay for your flight. You'd think he would have enough of gentleman in him and say, no, listen, guy, you're on a disability right now. And again, if you go listen to Ackerman's voice, he even knows that they were on painkillers. They already knew the guy had a major back problem. Everyone on YouTube, including the Fukushima hounds, were fully aware that Geoff Palko was on heavy painkillers. They absolutely defrauded him. And that's why the other video down below here, Fukushima fraud, contributed to Geoff Palko's death. Those aren't my words. That's Geoff Palko's own mother. She's saying that. I'll share the email. Like I said, folks, I'm the only person that's in contact with this family. None of those guys will contact them. In fact, Mary sent me the email, which I forwarded to Thomas Ackerman. I said, hey, Ackerman, stop making the videos on YouTube. Get into your email because Mary Palko wants to speak to you, buddy. And she also said she wants you to send the same invitation to your buddy Kevin Blanch for Kevin to contact her. You think they're going to contact her? Absolutely not. The frauds will stay away from anyone who's trying to bust them. So Mary tried to make people say, well, why didn't they try to get his money? They did, but you have to understand, we're not talking about hundreds of thousands of dollars here. We're talking under $45,000, under $40,000. And then there's the problem with the fact that this is money given to Ackerman, right? So I'm not, family's not sure. What do we do? Go get a judge here? I mean, a lawyer, and he's going to charge us how much per hour? We're going to go after Ackerman for his $2,200? Yeah, I don't think so. So you understand why they didn't go for that. Next one up. Well, this is the Royal Bank of Canada. And if you can see down below here, it says $16,576. Oh, no, this wasn't a withdrawal, even though it says withdrawal, okay? This is actually a lien that was taken out on Geoff Palko's home. He didn't have the cash. He took a lien out on his home. That's what this was. So people say, well, why didn't they go after, Dana Durnford in a boat? Because I still get these emails once in a while. People ask me, I came across this. How come they're not doing anything? Well, here's the thing, folks. You have to understand. The money is distributed amongst these three fraudsters, and they're in different amounts. And it has to do with the amount of evidence, how the money was given, what's the odds of winning that case, what are the costs for each individual case. On top of that, we have I'll get into the next one, but Kevin Blanch lives in another country. In the case of the boat here, the lien on the home, well, here's the deal on this one. Again, it's the amount, and it's the fact that Geoff Palko, okay, the late Geoff Palko, donated the money so Dana could buy the boat. But hold on a second. You're saying, see, he did donate. No, he didn't. There was a donation, but there was a little clause in it. And Dana even says it in his the video I showed you earlier on, except he goes on to lie what went on afterwards. Okay. The clause was that Dana was supposed to take the boat, go out on his expedition. Okay, I'm not sure if you're aware of this, but he went out on an expedition for life. That was the real name of it too. I'm telling you, us folks on the West Coast, I'm like, is he kidding? Expedition for life? Is he kidding? No, it wasn't a joke. When he got out there and started pointing his camera only at bare rocks and making it look like everything was dead, then it wasn't a laughing matter anymore. Then it became very serious. And then, like I said, eventually Geoff Palko himself complained that, hey, Dana, you're not doing any testing, because that was part of the deal. Geoff wanted some test. He thought that he was donating towards Dana's project so Dana could go out on the boat, on the Pacific Ocean with the boat, the Zodiac boat, 20-foot Zodiac that Geoff paid for, out of taking a lien on his home, and that samples would be tested. And Geoff would feel like, hey, right on. I've helped a really good. And you know what? Had it gone down that way, I would have been on it too. Because people were even asking me back then in 2014, connecting dots. Why are you pissing down on him? Why are you saying this about Dana? I'm like, listen, guy, I live right here on the West Coast. My friend works at the fish farm. My other friend, she works at the fish plant where the fish food comes in off the West Coast. Trust you me, nothing's dead. They're absolutely frauding. He's scamming everyone. I said, we have a problem with the sunfish, and that's about the size of the extent here, and I'll share you here an email from a marine biologist who actually has studied this area. So you get to see his own words, what he says, okay, about regarding Fukushima and pollution. So Geoff fell for it, but he wanted samples. Dana didn't give any samples. And so at that point, what could the family do? The boat was in Dana's name. Their brother, her son, had given Dana the money to go buy the boat. The boat's not even in Geoff's name anymore, because he lives out he lived in Alberta, and the boat was bought on the BC coast. So Geoff essentially just sent Dana the $16,576. On top of that, we know there's roughly about another $2,000 to $5,000 cash that was sent to Dana. So yeah, Dana got roughly about $20,000 out of Geoff Palko. Absolute fraudster. Again, Dana, like the rest of them, was fully aware that Geoff was under heavy medication. Did not. I mean, I could, when I used to listen to his YouTube before he got cleaned up. Okay, I knew there was something wrong with him. I just thought he wasn't a very a bright person. And eventually, well, what I ended up finding out is because he was heavily sedated on morphine. He was drugged up from his pain in his back. He was popping the pills like crazy. And it's not until he had his meltdown and he made this video that one time I'm like, whoa, hold on a second. That's the real Geoff Palko. Now he's back. And in that video, you get to hear him speak, and that's when everyone was aware. Well, hold on a second. Now Geoff is totally aware now. He realized he's been defrauded, not only by Dana, but now he's made a video letting everyone know that even Kevin Blanch has scammed him out of his $18,500. Like I said, on to the next fraudster. So we had Thomas Ackerman here. Very little chance of the family getting the money there. Ackerman, not being a real big man, out on the scam, instead would accept, a poor man, a dying man on top of that, a dying man who's on morphine. He would rather accept his money than, maybe sell one of those paintings for a little bit cheaper. Instead of $60,000, maybe only $1,000 or $2,000, maybe $3,000, pay his own flight. No, absolutely not. He'd rather take Geoff's money. Like I said, these people are all cowards. So the next coward up, Kevin Blanch. Like I said, it never stops with these clowns. So as you can see up there, $6,000 was given to Kevin Blanch, and the best is the email. And I still have the original, if you're wondering here, folks. Where is it? There we go. There's the original right there. Okay. Is anybody wondering if I still have these? Yes, sirree, bombs right there. So you get to see right there. He's sending a letter to Kevin. He's saying, Kevin, I've contributed to date $18,500 towards the investment fund. More than any other mother tucker alive on this earth, Plus the other stuff that was for you to use as needed. What do you think the other stuff is, folks? It's more cash. More money. So it goes on to say here, the $18,500 is what I'm interested in. How much of that money actually made it into the investment fund, the GP No Regrets Fund? It was sent in the following series: $2,500 check, $10,000 check, $6,000 check, for a total of $18,500. The amount sent for the investment. How much is in the fund, Kevin? Kevin, are you listening, Kevin? No, Kevin didn't listen. Hell no. Kevin scammed him right out. I'm looking forward to see what happens. You know, keep me in the loop, okay? Oh boy, it's so sad. He was even making these soup boxes for Kevin. Totally screwed him, fucked him over hard, folks. Scammed him. Like I said, go watch the video. I don't care if he's making this one from November 19th. You go watch the one that came out just several months later in December when Geoff had finally realized that Kevin's a two-faced lying son of a bitch. Okay? Now, let's get right on to the death because, you know, this is this is the juice of it. Like I said, they keep wondering, why do you keep making reference that we're responsible for his death? Well, number one, I didn't need Mary Palko to make me realize that Geoff had gone over the deep end and you guys are responsible, but having his mother send me an email and saying the exact same words kind of made me feel like I've got it right again. So she goes on to say, as you will probably see here, these thieves caused him much anguish once he realized how badly he'd been scammed. And this contributed to his death. Did you get that, Dana? And this contributed to his death. Did you get that, Dana? You're responsible. You contributed to his death. Ackerman, Kevin Blanch, Miss Melky, Missing Sky 102, 101, Pink Safarette, Radchick, the whole kit and caboodle are part of the scam on YouTube that has cost a person their lives, and none of them will even admit they're partially responsible for it. Not even one bit. In fact, they'd rather come in, well, he's trying to harass me. Like I said, he can't even call me connecting dots. He can't even show people my YouTube channel. Absolute cowards, these people. Call me dots all you want. It doesn't matter. Eventually, people will find out where the real dot is, and it's over here at Connecting Dots. So as you can see here, she goes on to say the contributions and investments, because like I said, there were some donations, but these donations were based on a lie. That lie, if you're wondering what it was when Dana went on along the Pacific Ocean here. Okay, and I got to show you this video just because, in case there's some of you that are new here, and you're going to want this information and know where the whole fraud started. It all started in 2014 with the death of the Pacific Ocean, and I'm just going to look for that video by Dana and his fraud buddies. Here, this one right here. This is where the whole fraud started, folks. And I might as well get right into that video because it's going to tie into the rest of the stuff that he said in his latest video. Like I said, I can't play it, but I can sure as heck remember most of what he said in that bullshit. So, what he did is, as you can see by the dates down below here, on August 10th, 2014, him and his buddies said that they'd travel the entire 200 kilometers, and which is an absolute lie. Again, lies. He's full of lies. Every corner you turn, there's a lie with Dana. So, like I said, Dana, take me to court. Take me to court, buddy. I'm going to sue you. This is what I've been speaking about this afternoon with my lawyer. Ackerman too. Yes, the entire 200 kilometers. Ackerman giving out my free information, my personal information. Oh, he doesn't even know what that's all about, the dumbass. Anyways, turns out that this at 200 kilometers, he never did it. What he did is drove along the Pacific, the 900 kilometers. I gotta show you folks this here so you can see. Actually, here, let's go to his hometown, where Dana left, right? It's in Powell River, BC. I'm not sure if you folks heard about it, but that's where where he began his tour. This 200 kilometer tour back in August of 2014. Just like I said, if you're new to this is going to be a good breakdown video. So Dana lives down in the trailer park. I'm not sure if it's the beach campsite trailer park, but he lives in a trailer park. And he was saying that I was in his community. Never went to his community. He said I took pictures of his house. Never took pictures of his house. Did somebody take a picture of his house and send it to me? Absolutely, because there's people in his hometown that know that he's a lying fraudster. Okay? Just if you're listening now, Dana, I hope you are, because I didn't go up there. I had the intention of going up there in 2014 because I want to videotape the marine life right along your own seashore, right along your own hometown. People would be shocked and say, like, what? Dana's hiding all that stuff? And then I figured, you know what, I could do it here right from the comfort of my own desk here and just debunk the bejesus out of you using common sense. So essentially, there's a couple of people even close to him. That's the saddest part. He doesn't know this, but there's people that are close to him who've absolutely sold him out. Sold him out hardcore. Okay, like I said, they sent me pictures when he was telling his subscribers he had left on his tour. He wasn't even gone. The person sent me an email. It was like, he's totally lying. The boat is still in the backyard. The trailer is still there. He says, I'll drive by this afternoon. I'll take a darn picture for you just so you can see it. I'm like, yeah, go ahead, send it to me. So that's what the guy did. He drove by Dana's place and took a picture of it and sent me a picture. He says, there you go. His boat is still sitting in the yard. He's not left on that tour. So that was one of the things I got him online on. But that was nothing. The best folks are the worst, because this is where it all started. Dana came out here and left his hometown and went out on a 9-day highway drive. They weren't in the water. They're on the highway. You can see the highway here. It's not along. I mean, he says he went along, but do you think he can see the coastline, what's happening when he's way out here on the road? Do you think he went out on his wheelchair and pushed along the coastline? Okay, so we all got this figured out by now. He didn't go on his coastline with his wheelchair. He didn't even walk down because he was telling everyone he couldn't walk. They didn't rent a boat. They didn't have a boat. He admitted he went down to the local parks. He admitted, though, when he got up to Lund, they rented a boat for 3 hours. He says, oh, we covered about 40 kilometers. Or was it 40 miles? Regardless, how much beach do you think you can cover in 3 hours? Seriously. Yeah, and you're looking for signs of marine life? Oh, boy. So what he ended up doing is he drove down along this coastline for 9 days, stopped at the different provincial parks, threw that video together that I was just showing you. And by the way, I interviewed someone from his hometown, okay? The guy that owns the fish tour, the same guy that Dana says assaulted him, which we now know was absolutely false. Another one of Dana's lies. He edited the video and he played 20 seconds, and I knew right away there was something wrong. So I chased down the name of the company and I found out who it was in Powell River and called the guy. I said, hey, we only saw 19 seconds of that altercation with Dana. Would you mind giving us your side of the story? Absolutely, he said. And then we got to hear the other side, and people was, yeah, that's kind of like we thought. Lying Dana, can't even tell the truth about what he did on another man's property, harassing him when he's dealing with a client. So essentially, the guy told him to get the hell off his property, or he would knock him out. But he never laid a hand on him, just told him, get the hell off my property, because Dana was cursing out, mouthing off to him. Okay, you've heard how he can go kind of livid sometimes. So essentially, came down here, went along this coastline. I interviewed the guy. The guy says the altercation never took place. He says the other thing Dana's not telling you, he says there's more orcas here, okay? Killer whales. He says we used to, jump for joy when we'd see them once in a while back in the day. He says now we see them every day up and down. He went on to talk about how there was a big, massive school of herring, and I can't remember from what town, but he was talking a massive school of herring there. So yeah, I know that the killer whales aren't eating herring. They're not eating herring, okay? And I live in the city of Victoria. That's why I'm in touch with nature and what's going on here in the city, okay? And my friends that I was just speaking about that do the fish farm deal, okay? She's out here in Ucluelet, and he's out one of these bays out here, okay, where they have one of these pens that hold up the fish. So they're both near a fish and the ocean almost every single day. Well, my buddy is almost every day. So like I said, he went on in his tour. He didn't do the entire 200 kilometers, came back, made this video, and started showing everyone these underwater pictures, telling people this is the way it's supposed to look like. But when we went down there, and it's supposed to look like this. And then, hold on, I'm going to show you a picture here where we went down. He's showing all these different pictures. The best is when he's showing the sea anemones, and they're underwater, those white plants. Okay, I'm just waiting here. Okay, so here's the little map, the mini map where he said he went on his little tour. I'll turn this down here. So yeah, like I said, this 200 kilometers, but as you can see, he didn't do the whole kilometers. He did it on a stretch of highway there. He stopped at these different provincial parks. He didn't do this. He was on a ferry on this leg. I don't even know why he does that. What were you skimming off the side of the ferry, looking down underwater? What a ding dong. And even here, like, he didn't do any of this because it's not accessible. The highway's up here. You can only stop at the provincial parks, which is something that he admitted. So essentially, he went down, and these are the pictures he said. He says, everything's dead. Well, that's where we were like, what the hell are you talking about, buddy? That's the way it always looks. Some places it looks similar to what you just saw in that previous picture. And the underwater pictures that he took, well, I'm not going to dispute them. You know, he's talking about above the tidal zone. So it's you get different types of species up there. And it's, you know, when it all depends where it is. When it's exposed to the sun like that with no place to hide for cover, it's going to die a lot more. But if there's nice tight crevices out of the sun, okay, because that's the big factor, then things will live a lot better. And that's just the way it goes. These creatures need a place to hide. But the best thing was, is he said, you know, after doing 200 days along this coastline, he says, all the bugs that we saw would fit in one glass, an 8-ounce glass. I kid you not, folks. He says all the seaweeds that we saw would fit in the back of one pickup truck, the box of a pickup truck. Yeah, all the seaweeds along 200 kilometers. I kid you not. The best, he says during those 9 days on the 200 kilometers of the Canadian Pacific coastline, he says it was devoid of all life except for 4 main species. Oh yeah, devoid of life. Like I said, he goes on to say, he says, when a rational person considers the reality of 5,500 species that are missing from the tidal area, that is also the nursery of the Pacific Ocean itself, recovery seems highly unlikely because Fukushima cannot be stopped. I'm telling you. But this is, you know, I laugh about it now, but like I said, Geoff took his life. There's, I don't know how many other people donated money thinking that they were actually helping someone who calls himself the nuclear proctologist. That's the best of it, you know. And a nuclear proctologist doesn't even own a Geiger counter, hasn't even taken a single radiation sample, but come out and say that Fukushima has killed everything. Oh, give me a break. Like I said, that's why I can call him a fraudster, okay? There are not 5,500 species missing from the beds. And there, like I said, his latest one, it's not even 5,000 species. He's up to 4 million now. He keeps adding on. Unbelievable. So essentially, he said that after 9 days up there, he didn't see a single bird on the Pacific coast. Oh yeah, like I said, devoid of all life. He wasn't kidding, folks, except for just 4 main species. But he's the only one that ever noticed it. Yeah, because the other people that live on the coastline, well, they're not in wheelchairs like him, but they just don't go near the water. You know, they don't look down to it. They don't walk their dogs down there. They don't go swimming with the kids. No. We have no fishermen here on the West Coast who would ever notice. And the natives who've been living here for centuries, they wouldn't notice. Oh, God, you can take all the rocks and all the sands off the beaches. None of the natives would have. Oh, come on, give me a break, Dana. So you can see in the background here his scamming buddy, right? Actually, I'm calling him scamming because he was part of this whole tour. Okay, he actually funded it, and it's this guy here in the background, Terry Daniel. We found out that day that his name was Terry Daniel, and essentially Terry got caught up in this, or I should say, is part of it. And the best part was because Dana says, "You make videos about my buddy Terry Daniel and Ted Anderson." I'm like, yeah, that's right. Because, see, Terry Daniel used to manage a building. And, well, he used to collect rent. And let's, you know, I don't have to really I don't have to connect all the dots. I'm assuming most of you have enough intelligence, just like his past boss, Anderson had figured out that Terry had been scamming him. Because, see, Terry was picking up rent, and they had a little drawer in their office, not their office. It was actually Terry's office that was supplied to him by Mr. Anderson here. And Mr. Anderson went down to the office one day to pick up the rent that was being collected from all these units. We're not talking chump change here, folks. There's a lot of units there. This gentleman owned a lot of, still does own a lot of units. And well, guess what? The money that was supposed to be in that drawer, it wasn't there. Yeah, it grew some legs. It kicked open the drawer. It jumped off the desk and unlocked the door and ran out of the office. And I don't know how it managed to lock the office door again, but it did. It managed to lock the office door, and then the money just kept on running down the road. I think it ran down to McDonald's or Dairy Queen. I can't remember what, but that money just ran away. Oh, thousands of it. Oh, yeah, kept on running. Terry doesn't know, though. He says, last time I saw that money, it didn't have any legs, but I put it in the right in the desk drawer, that same place we always put it. I don't know how it got away, but it must have grew some legs. Yeah. So Mr. Anderson was smart enough and fired his ass. Boom. You're out of here, you scamming son of a bitch. Okay? Gone. Fired. Boom. Yes, I do the same damn thing. So yeah, he didn't take him to court because he couldn't prove it. And oddly enough, oh, it wasn't done there, folks. Like I said, Terry Daniel. Regarding Terry Daniel. The Daniel scam. She says, I watch your videos of the scam being perpetrated by the above. I would also like to let you know that I have also been the victim of Terry. Oh, Terry's just shitting his pants right now saying, fuck, please don't show this stuff. Terry's like a Terry guy. Come on, buddy. What do you expect me to let you scammers thrive out here on YouTube? I don't think so. So she goes on to say, my husband was Terry's brother, and he died nearly 3 years ago. My husband was a carpenter and had every tool known to man, which he kept in the garage. All these tools went missing, and Terry had access to the garage. He used some ruse of helping me out, but he was helping himself to the tools. He was seen by neighbors on several occasions at my home while I was at work. I called him out on it, and he never denied or admitted to it. And like Todd English, oh, sorry, I just said Todd Anderson. Sorry, guys, I got the wrong name. It was Todd English that owned those apartment buildings, okay? Todd English was Terry Daniel's past employer. She says, like Todd English, she says, I have no proof. He's a scum and a degenerate. I hope will you not give up on your quest for truth and expose the shits. Thanks, Donna. So I got some good news out of that one. I kept pressing, and guess what happened, folks? When I made videos about Terry Daniel, 24 hours later, the tools never returned. She says, I'll probably get no tools back. But she says, my husband's watch collection, boom, all of a sudden returned to the RCMP. She says, I get an email from the RCMP, come on down to the office. We got your husband's watch back. Boom, yes. So the scammers are absolutely afraid of the truth, and I don't mind promoting some truth. And yeah, soup boxes are on the way. Unfortunately, Geoff took his life over this, but he still has a son. And I'm about to upload a video here later on. And you'll hear at the end of the video how I have a contact in Powell River where we have a parking for the boat. And I'm going to help ask you folks to let's hit them hard. Let's hit them hard here. Leave some comments in my videos asking for Dana to sell that boat and return the funds. In fact, let's not tell him to sell the boat. Let's get him just to return the boat. Like I said, I have a parking spot in Powell River. We can park it. We will sell the boat, and we're going to give the money back to Cody Palko, where it rightfully belongs. It belongs to Cody Palko. That money, that $16,575 that Dana took from Geoff, that's because Geoff believed that the Pacific Ocean was dead after watching that video that Dana put up there regarding the 9 days to 200 kilometers. All false, all misleading, all lies. Like I said, I do my research. I live right here on the West Coast. If things were dying, everyone here on the West Coast, we'd be talking about it. Just like many of you heard about the sunfish. Well, guess what? We're all here on the West Coast. People walk the beach all the time. They start seeing that shit washing up dead. So this information here was sent to me. I had to block it out. Stephen doesn't want it all given away. He says, I am practicing marine biologist and a member of many working marine groups and can assure you that our area is still flourishing. Like I said, folks, go watch my video. I talked about the fact that the endangered orca pod, the orca whales, right here on the west coast, right around my island, Vancouver Island, they were endangered. They had a baby boom. Almost beating their old record from 1979. That year there was 9 born calves. This year, I should say last year in 2015, they had 6. Almost beat the record. Oh no, it's dying from Fukushima. Everything's wiped out. 5,500 species. Yet somehow this great big huge marine mammal called an orca can have almost a record-setting baby birth, a baby boom, when everything's dead. Give me a break. So as you can see here, he goes on to say there's definitely human impact to our oceans, but the radiation from Japan is not documented as being one of them. As a consultant, I have dived industrial sites along many areas of our coast, including the Sunshine Coast area, which is where Dana was said he had spent these 200 days traveling that coastline. That's called the Sunshine Coast. Just this year, he said, and my species list for impacted areas numbers in the hundreds of organisms. So obviously this person generating controversy does not know how to catalog or document marine species. And coincidentally, is not that what we've been saying on YouTube since 2014? Dana, do you mind naming the 5,500 species that are missing? Because from what we've seen out of your videos, for a guy who spent all these years by the ocean, you have a hard time naming 5 of them. I kid you not, folks. This is like so ridiculous, making claims that now there's 4 million and you can't even name the first 5. He says, he goes on to say, as a professional biologist, I do not negotiate or confront any negative stories or comments in the media. There will be conspiracy theorists among us to generate controversy as long as gullible people will provide support. If members of the public are naive enough to send them money, they've obviously found a new way to gain funding from individuals who have too much money to spend and not enough energy to find out information for themselves. Silly people. Creative business person. Well, unfortunately, it's not a business person. This is a scam. This is an absolute fraud. So I'm going to go back to the comments here and rack it up here. See what we've got out here. Dane and crew, thank you for all your efforts. Humanity needs to hear your words. Oh my God, Carol can't even spell words. Dane and crew. That's all they have is words. No testing. No testing at all. And like I said, big fat cowards. Can't even debate. Continue the great work connecting dots too. Much respect for what you do. Thank you very much. Sorry, I believe them for a time. That's all right, guy. Like I said, we're not here to make fun of you. I've received, like I said in my past video, if I didn't receive 30 to 50 emails from people like yourself that had fallen for it, I haven't received one. And so I've even asked my people, the subscribers, the people that follow these videos, that leave comments, not to make fun of those of you that are still falling for it, okay? Just like I haven't made fun of Carol right now, because at some point Carol herself will be realizing, oh my God, he's right. There's other places on the marine life that are just blowing with life. Why is Dana only pointing his camera at every single area that's just dead? Why doesn't Dana debate this guy? How come Dana doesn't have a before and after picture of the same location? At some point, Carol's going to, she's going to wake up. She's going to realize what's going on. So we want to be here and being supportive, okay? Dana should be in prison for what he has done? Absolutely. Yes. 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 There's so many of us that agree the same thing. Absolutely. Absolutely should be in. That's why I said, let them charge me. I can't wait to see the judge's face when I start going off and not going off. I won't go off. I like pulling other people's words. So I'll just make a cute little video. There you go, judge. Slip that in your little DVD and play it to the crowd. And you guys listen to it. I'll stand back and you can ask me any questions after that. The judge will just be shaking his head like, what? What are they saying? Yeah, you're right, Your Honor. What the hell are they saying, right? Like I said, these fraudsters won't even dare come near me. Okay, they'll all come back to roost. It's only a matter of time. Do you believe the rad fallout has impacted the U.S. at all? What do you think? because I've made videos on this. Okay, I was, like I said, Dana just showed up here. It was about a year and a half ago, 2 years ago. Started making videos on Fukushima. I've been doing it since day one. So yes, has it impacted? Yes, I followed. I made those videos. There was roughly the estimated 14,000 infant mortality deaths soon after Fukushima. A spike of 14,000 deaths. I mentioned even on my island, Vancouver Island, British Columbia, Canada, as I showed on the screen here a while ago. Not the island, but well, the island and the province, okay, on the West Coast, we had a spike of 62% in infant mortality death rates after Fukushima. So yes, we did. Are there going to be more effects? Absolutely. We had at one point, this is why I call out Arnie Gunderson as a fraudster also, okay? Because trust you and me, I forgot that one too. Dana says, you never asked me to debate. Dana, are you watching, guy? It's right there. Holy son of a gun, I almost forgot about that. Dana, you've never given me your phone number, and I don't want to debate you on the phone anyways. I would never debate you on a phone call, so that's how I know you're lying, where you said I said to people that I called you and your number doesn't work. Nope, don't know your number, never called you, don't plan on calling you. I want to debate you live on YouTube. 5 minutes to you, 5 minutes to me, 5 minutes to you, 5 minutes to me. You can spew your bullshit for 5 minutes, and I'll debunk it for 5 minutes. You spew up more crap, I'll debunk it for another 5. Back and forth like that, Dana. He won't come, folks. Trust me, okay? Absolute chicken shit. So, yeah, I tried to debunk him for that much. He won't even come near me. Okay, where was I going in this one here? I was about to show you the Arnie Gunderson. Bing, bing, bing. Arnie Gunderson, another big-time fraudster who should be in jail. Right along Dana and Miss Melky and Kevin Blanch and Ackerman and many others here. So we got scammed by Arnie Gunderson on CNN News. Like I said, anyone has the opportunity to grab a microphone and waken up the herd should do it. Absolutely. But you can't be waking them up after it's already gone by. Then you pull out stories from 2011 to prove your story. It's already gone by. Seriously, I'm surprised Dana hasn't pulled out this story and say, look at, it was coming out back then in 2011 after the meltdown. So there's still that many hot radioactive particles. So if you're wondering right now, you're saying, why are you picking on Arnie Gunderson? Well, like I said, if you have the microphone and you're on mainstream news and you've just finished telling people, like I said, go listen to the video, you will find out for yourself that he just finished telling everyone that people that were living on the coast, on the West Coast, in the city of Seattle, specifically Seattle, okay? They just finished finding out that if you're living on the West Coast in the city of Seattle, after 60 days? Yes, 60 days after the Fukushima meltdown, you were breathing in 5 hot radioactive particles per day, per person. That's right. For 60 days straight, they say that the lab, the results here, like I said, it's all about testing, right? This is why Dana can't debunk me. And this is how I can easily debunk him, because I've got the Geiger counters. He's got a camera. He's focusing his camera only one direction. I can focus my Geiger counter everywhere, and I can pull out my camera to show everyone what's going on. So we found out that after the meltdown, for 60 days, the air sampling testing showed that people in Seattle were breathing in 5 hot radioactive particles per day per person for 60 days after the meltdown. Does that mean they were breathing in more afterwards or less? Well, I know it didn't just because the data stopped on the 60th day, that doesn't mean on 61 the hot particles all say, okay, we're leaving now, we're going somewhere else. I don't think so, folks. They were still there. They were still there. Maybe the numbers start to lessen, but it doesn't matter. They were still there. But we do know that after the 60 days that this was out there. And he was asked right on CNN, Arnie Gunderson, that's why I called him a fraud a long time ago. That's why he gives thumbs up to Energy News. That's why I've connected those dots. Everyone's figured this out, most of the people on YouTube. That's why Energy News, NE News, is no longer a very popular term out here. Instead, it's promoted by Dana Durnford, BP Earthwatch, Dabu. It's the same fraud squad. So essentially, Arnie Gunderson was asked, since we just found out that everyone was breathing in 5 hot radioactive particles per day per person for 60 days straight. Oh, by the way, if you weren't living a sedentary life, that means you're working outside with a elevated heart rate, they were saying that you could be breathing up to 10 hot radioactive particles during that time period. When your heart was elevated and you're outside jogging or whatever, forget 5. 5 is your normal breathing. If your elevated heart rate, they were saying you could be breathing up to 10. And oddly enough, 10 hot radioactive particles per day per person for 60 days is what they got in. Guess where? That's right, Japan. So Arnie Gunnarsson was asked by John King on CNN after this information come out, is this something Americans should be concerned about? I want you folks that are following Dana right now, I want you to tell me in the comments, is this something that Arnie Gunnarsson should have made a point of, yes, this is something to worry about? Come on, you just heard me describe it here. Be upfront with me. Should Arnie Gunnarsson have not said to John King, yes, this is something we should be extremely worried about. In fact, we should have people moving out of that area. I mean, we have forest fires right now here in Alberta, in Canada. They're evacuating from the smoke. There's radioactive particles, hot radioactive particles. They're referred to as fuel fleas. That means they don't need the wind. They don't need a particle of dust. They don't need rain to carry them around. They're like a flea. They jump around on their own power. That's right. Fuel fleas are referred to as hot radioactive particles. So I ask you again, those of you that believe that Fukushima everything is bad, I'm asking you straight up, should Arnie Gunnarsson not have said to John King, yes, this is something we should be extremely worried about, and we should evacuate those that live on the West Coast, because it's not good to breathe in 5 hot radioactive particles per day. You're not going to hear that shit. Guess what? But I was making videos. When I found out that stuff, oh yes, I was making the videos, because when I found out that people on the West Coast, like I said, I live right here on the West Coast. I'm not sure if you saw where that was on the map, but let's bring it up again here, just in case you're fresh to the West Coast and you understand the geography of where I live and where Seattle is. Like I said, my channel is all about truth. It's not about bullshit. It's about promoting the truth, and boy, oh boy, people love the truth. So here's Seattle right there. Guess where I live? Victoria. You see that? I can almost throw a stone. Well, maybe not throw a stone, but you know what I mean, right? It's right around the corner. Here's that famous Strait of Juan de Fuca, where the wind blows up here. Oh, I wonder if they're blowing in those hot 10 radio. You gosh darn right. In fact, I even made the videos back then where the nuclear journalist was talking about it. He says, out of all my favorite places, one of the places I wouldn't want to be is my most favorite place in the world right now. And guess what he mentioned? You got it. Vancouver Island. My eyes are like, oh, shit. The nuclear journalist just said that because of if it goes into a meltdown, he wouldn't want to be on Vancouver Island. I live right here in Victoria. Oh, yeah. So I hope you understand now why I bought not just 1, but 2 Geiger counters, and why I got off my fucking ass and spent my own money and traveled back and forth across Canada chasing rainfall. Even my own family thought I was nuts. Okay. I've said before, I've got a family member here in Ottawa. They work at the Canadian Food Inspection Agency. Do you not think I had a conversation with them regarding Fukushima? If you're thinking no, then you're absolutely nuts. You don't know who I am, because I'm outspoken with my family too. In fact, that's probably why they don't like me too much, because I'm very upfront about shit. Even the shenanigans in my own family, I will call them out. I don't like bullshit. So yes, my relative and I, we didn't have a falling out, but we definitely don't see eye to eye. And my response to them is, you're almost the head of the Canadian Food Inspection Agency. Do you not think that maybe it would be somewhat a good idea to test for Fukushima radiation? And then we find out later on they've got another department, Health Canada, behind it. Health Canada. Well, we've already caught Health Canada killing Canadians. Oh, people are saying, what are you talking about, killing Canadians? No, I kid you not. See, when Fukushima went down, folks, this is a little story here you're not going to hear everywhere. In the city of Vancouver, there were 5 Geiger counters set on top of buildings. It was essentially our first line of defense in case there was ever a nuclear meltdown over in Japan. These 5 Geiger counters located at 5 different buildings were on the top floors. So when the radiation would travel down the West Coast, just like that nuclear journalist was warning us about on CTV News back then in 2011. These Geiger counters were going to be our first line of defense. Guess what happened when Fukushima, when we all found out after the power had been knocked down, and then 3-4 days later we ended up having a meltdown, massive explosion. They turned the Geiger counters off. That's Health Canada. That's why I said we don't need Health Canada checking. Health Canada is fraud. They're scammers. They're liars. They've helped promote frauds. Yes, Health Canada, sue me because I'll take you to court also. Unless we have a crooked judge that's paid, which I wouldn't doubt, I can actually prove that Health Canada's a fraud, okay? Scam people. Kill, I don't know how many, but they've killed people. And some of these people are not dead yet. Like I said, our first line of defense was turned off, and for 10 days we had no readings. And if you're thinking that 10 days later they turned the Geiger counters back on here at the same location at these 5 different buildings on the top of Vancouver, give your head a shake. Give your head a shake. They would not dare do that because they knew damn well that there was still a little bit of radiation traveling back and forth here. And in fact, what they did is they took the Geiger counters down, traveled down Highway 1 up to 5, down on the 97C, came down to Kelowna, down in the valley in Kelowna, and they turned on the Geiger counters 10 days later in the city of Kelowna, way down here. The problem is you guys don't understand how many mountain chains and how low an altitude Kelowna is. It's sunk in. It's in between mountains. If you're a regular listener of mine, you may recall I broke my neck up here, up in the mountains here, just north of Kelowna, up in the park when I was out looking for a gold mine. So essentially, we had Health Canada lying to us. So I've said to my relative, well, it's food, Canadian Food Inspection Agency. You should be taking care of it. So yeah, I traveled back and forth, and I did testing because people want results. And I had enough intelligence to know that, if Fukushima's spewing out and Buddy's talking about 10 radioactive particles and he can't even speak the truth, oh la la, we are so screwed, chewed, and barbecued. Let me tell you, that's when I realized, hold on a second. Give me a margarita here. I need to really calm down for a second. Think about this whole bullshit. Because I didn't trust my TV before, but I even trusted less after that day. That's when I realized, hold on a second here. This is very corrupt here. We have Arnie Gunnarsson, who's promoted oddly by Dutch Sense, who's now gone into where? In the closet doing what? Who knows? But we all called him out Dutch Sense because we were like, hey, Dutch, while I was doing my cross-Canada radiation tour, Dutch had collected money in the United States and was telling everyone he was leaving, St. Louis, Illinois, and he was traveling out to the West Coast, and he was going to do atmospheric testing. Well, everyone was saying, Dutch. Come on over here for a second here, buddy. I want to explain something to you. Radiation, because it's been released up in the air, it's kind of like up in the air, okay? It doesn't necessarily have the weight, like, let's say, like Mount St. Ellen ash or even ash from a fire. It won't necessarily fall down quite that easily, okay? It's not like that, Dutch. It kind of goes up in the air, and you got to do fallout testing. Well, guess what? Dutch Sense banned those of us that spoke out and left that comment in his videos, and that's when I realized, okay, Dutch Sense was promoting Arnie Gunnarsson. Arnie Gunnarsson lies about the hot radioactive particles. We had Dutch Sense just a little earlier before that line about yeah, I had enough of this. So essentially, I'm going to go back to the comments here, and I want to see what this person has to say about Arnie Gunnarsson, and should have been more upfront about people and telling them they needed to evacuate the West Coast. Traveling with style. SGM, Silver Gold Man, that's me, yes, was one of the few voices being honest. Just as many fraudsters were trying to scare the shit out of people. Sorry, the high school teacher, Arnie Gunnarsson, Dana, Webbots, all bullshit. Thanks, guy. And look, they already give me seven thumbs down. I don't care. And by the way, I give myself a thumbs up because people get it in the feed. In fact, they even said they don't get it in the feed sometimes, so I have to come out here and bang it off another couple of more times so we make sure. There we go. Beautiful Girl by Dana, Expedition for Life. We'll make sure we put it in there. And we have another one here. Fukushima, Kevin Blanch, the fraud. Yes. Kevin Blanch says, I'm going to sue you defamation. Bring it on, Kevin. Bring it on. Let's go to court. Ackerman, too. Ackerman's already probably in trouble here. Like I said, I just spoke to my lawyer about this today, so we'll see here what comes down. giving out my personal information and having people call me. I'm just waiting here. My lawyer says, you make sure you have your phone charged up and those guys call you. You make sure you can. I said, don't worry. I got the camera right here and she's a rolling. Okay, folks, thank you very much for showing up. And I'll remind you, if you want to know more about the story or follow up some of the stories, you can go right down to my website. Okay, there's a thread here. In fact, I'll leave it down below in the show more tab of this video, and you can see the collection, watch some of Geoff Palko's own words and see the checks, the money that's been given there. You get to see at one point here, they took down this video. Like I said, they hacked his channel. He made a video. It was called Top News Flash, and I'm talking about him, speaking about the late Geoff Palko. Geoff had made a video here on November 27th. He says, I want to clarify that connecting dots was not responsible for my break during September, October. That's when he landed in a hospital. Okay, the break was, he had a breakdown, like I said. And he says, the Fukushima hounds should know that. See with the exclamation mark? Like I said, he even realized himself that the fairy tale of Fukushima fairy tales, He says they should know that he had nothing to do with it. As I shared many times, I did not follow his work. So, and the other piece of evidence, you get to hear how Kevin Blanch, who's been claiming he'd been a ex-hedge fund manager, he was a stucco, he was a plasterer, folks. He owns a website, stuckodamage.com. In fact, now that we posted this stuff, he went and changed it. Now he says it's for sale. He says, I got cancer. I'm like, oh, you frauding, lying son of a bitch. Okay, so there's Kevin Blanch right there. People say he's skinnier now. It's the same skinny guy. He hasn't changed anything. It's the same guy. Okay, folks. And the best was, like I said, I like using their words against them. And Thomas Ackerman, when he made that video here regarding, calling me connecting dots, he's upset because I'm calling him out. And essentially, you can see down below, somebody screen captured on her phone. It was Claire Stanhope, actually. She sent me this email. And she said, go take a look at the comments here. So you can read down below. Kevin Blanch, he comes in and he says, by that, Geoff, I guess he meant by the way, Geoff owes me money. I never got any money from the liar. He caught, oh boy, he's missing all the word. He cost me $1,000 by baiting me up there with his bullshit. It cost me $1,000 for my plane flight. He never paid shit. And then you go look on top and you're like, hold on a second, Kevin. We've got the emails right there and we even got a check, Kevin. What do you mean you never got nothing? So you know right there he's a liar, right? Right there. And plus you even get to hear Geoff Palko's words there where he says, plus that other stuff that was for you to use as needed. So I'm going to end the show here. Thank you very much, everyone, for showing up. What's that? And Tokyo nursing women had radioactive particles in breast milk. If Seattle had half the radioactive particles, bada boom, bada bing, you got it, guy. Man, I'm still shocked about Dana, but now to consider that Arnie sold out, I'm feeling very sad. I'm glad you're feeling sad because, guy, that was my big wake-up call when I realized that even Arnie Gunnarsson was lying to people, instead of being all like, well, and he said, yeah. It took him, you said, yeah, but it took him a long time. You should have been up front with people saying, this is a major event. This needs to be taken care of. These people need to evacuate. When people are breathing hot radioactive particles, no, that's not what's going on. What? I'm from BC, living in Brazil, but gave money to Dana? But then my friends went fishing and told me they had the best year ever. Not a single looking fish in hundreds. Well, I'm sorry, guy. I'm sorry you got robbed. Like I said, there are hundreds more that got scammed in all of this, okay? You like the reality shake? Well, yeah, some people didn't like it. And anyways, Dana definitely doesn't like it. So I'm going to leave the link, as I said, down below if you want to go watch this stuff or share it with anyone. I'd really appreciate it. And I'll say goodbye to you folks. And I'll remind you that I'll be having I don't know if I'll have a live show, probably not, but I'll make a video here on the latest findings as far as the Panama Papers and Barack Obama's promise to deal with the tax fraud, which is another, okay. So see you folks later. Thanks very much for showing up, and stay safe.